Welcome, friends. Welcome, Anjali.
Thank you, Terry.
I know you have a question that we're going to discuss. I don't know what it is,
It's a surprise.
but let's have at it.
Sure. So the question is more of a spiritual one this time.
Okay.
And it is to when one has made a conscious decision to embark upon a path, and by path I mean a spiritual path, to really deepen the understanding of who they are, what are those things that one should look out for when looking for a spiritual teacher? And is it necessary to have a spiritual teacher?
It is highly desirable to have a spiritual teacher. It's like learning anything else. Yoga, or maybe skiing. You can't learn to ski from reading books. And you can't learn to ski best by getting your skis and going out there on the slopes. You need somebody that can tell you how to do this best and how you particularly can do it best.
Right.
And that's what a spiritual guide has to offer. Someone who not only knows the spiritual territory, but can answer your questions personally so that the path, whatever that may be, works for you, and so that you can fit into and assimilate it properly. Yes, it's highly desirable to have a spiritual teacher.
And what would be things to look out for when looking for a spiritual teacher?
I think one would try to avoid spiritual teachers that have, shall we say, an excessive amount of charisma, because one wants to attach oneself to that which is true and helpful, not that which is bright and shiny and flashy.
Right.
And history is full of sad stories about very charismatic leaders who have failed and hurt a lot of people in the process. That isn't to say charisma is a bad thing, but it can't be the thing.
Mm-hmm. Right. I also think sometimes we think because our friend has so-and-so as a spiritual teacher, then I must do too. I feel like there's no one-size-fit-all approach to this.
No.
And one has to find what works for them. If it works for someone else, it's not necessary that it's going to work for me too.
Right. But that can be a deep and complicated decision, because on the one hand, yes, a particular spiritual path needs to work for you as an individual.
Right.
And on the other hand, you can't necessarily quickly reject things that don't feel well or fit well, because part of the spiritual path is fitting yourself into a particular mold, model, system, framework of reference. So it's, again, one of those questions of balance. It needs to be right for you, but you also need to make yourself right for it.
Right.
And between those two can be a lot of work.
Well, like you say, that it's like a teacher and student relationship, and the student won't get anywhere if they don't do their homework. So.
Yes, that's right. And I've known a lot of spiritual travelers whose spiritual lives are all about reading.
Right.
They read good things that are true and good and beautiful.
Right.
But it's not enough. It's not enough.
Thank you.